lot of the things always revolve around tax breaks and tax incentives too. But one of the things is we can discuss zoning, we can deal with roads. Counties deal with roads a lot. Potholes get fixed by the city, but the overall repaving of a road is actually done by the county. You'll even see some of these streets we go down are still called county road. Making sure that we're not putting all those resources into some areas and not areas where we want to build affordable housing will also make sure that we can get people to live there. We can provide tax incentives, we can provide building incentives, we can provide expedited permitting. We can do lots of things to make sure that if people are doing things that will allow housing to be more affordable, that we put the full weight of the government behind it. I know Clay Jenkins has talked about affordable housing that he is putting in that will have mixed units, where some people are getting rebates while others are paying full price, and that's something that as a county and a county initiative, I would be behind to make sure that we are getting people together and lifting everyone up. Thank you.
Okay, and how can county government actually influence and advocate for affordable housing?
We can actually provide it, is the answer. And it's not that hard to do. There are a number of buildings within the county's purview that we possess as the county that are currently not being used for one reason or another that can be turned into affordable housing. It is that simple. We need to convert them and we need to give them to affordable housing along those lines. Now there are several folks who are homeless who need a place to stay, for example. Some folks only need a short period of time in which they need housing. Others need longer periods of time. My plan would be as follows. For those who need longer-term care, I would convert county buildings into affordable housing for individuals who need it for a long period of time. For those who need it for a short period of time, there are a number of hotels that are located throughout the entire county that we can rent at a specific rate and give people a place to stay for a while, to become medicated, so that they can come back to work, so that they can have jobs. If you don't have a place to stay, how do you take your medications? I don't know if any of you have traveled, but when you do you sometimes forget your meds and go, I forget it. You know, it's just too much of a bother because I'm trying to just deal with moving from place to place. The homeless have this all the time. We need to provide them a place to stay so that they can become medicated, and if they can become medicated, they can return back to work. Housing is the way to do it. We can do it with hotels, and we can do it with county buildings. Thank you very much.
You're going to be up first on this one.
I feel like I'm dancing sometimes.
Yeah. What are your plans to renovate and build a new criminal court building, and B, provide protected parking fee for prosecutors?
Okay, all right, so the answer is we do need more courts. Absolutely. We need more courts because we are behind, as I've said before. And one of the ways that we can accomplish that task is to bring back retired judges and actually have them in the court system. They need a place to be. There are courts that we presently have that are not being used. Most of them are over there in the civil buildings. We can convert and change those to criminal buildings to be able to house these additional courts and speed up the process of getting people to the justice that they deserve so that we can move them out of the jail, so that we can improve the jail as a result. The parking, give me that again?
Provide protected parking for prosecutors.
Yeah. But when a prosecutor comes out of the building, there is concerns, grave concerns, that they might be attacked, mugged, whatever it is. It is not that hard to be able to put a part of the parking lot that we use that is protected with security, with sheriffs there to make sure that when you've worked your tail off trying to bring justice to this county, that you are protected and not mugged coming on the way out. It's not that hard and it's not that expensive.
Michelle, what are your plans to renovate or build a new criminal court building and provide protected parking for prosecutors?
So that's actually a very interesting question because it's not just limited to the criminal. Our our family court judges actually quite often need protection. Sometimes our bailiff, when they're sitting in the courts, the little barrier they're sitting behind, sometimes they're not metal reinforced. Just something that simple to make sure that we are protecting everyone in the courthouse. I personally know many civil judges who have been followed out to their parking spots, who have been stalked, who have had to have the FBI come in sometimes. So I feel like the same level of protection that we give to our judges is absolutely something we need to give to our prosecutors and anybody who is going to work for our court system. When you become a lawyer, one of the things they kind of like pound into our heads is that we are officers of the court. Before we represent our clients, we represent justice. And so every single person in there, I have heard time and time and time again, and I've been a victim of this, female attorneys are being stalked. We're being stalked on the civil side. We're being stalked, not necessarily by male attorneys, but pro se, people who are trying to represent themselves will sometimes, because we can't really stop them, will get on our social media, will do that. So we need to provide protection for every part of the court system. Our family court judges, our bailiffs, even, I haven't heard of threats against court reporters, but I wouldn't doubt that they're out there. And when I go into a courtroom on the civil side, a lot of times the only women in the room are me, the judge, sometimes the bailiff, and the court reporter. We oftentimes are threatened by people, and we can go underground, but I think providing security for everybody who's part of the justice system is something that's incredibly important. And if I get on the commissioner's court, we'll actually have a majority female court, 3 people. And I think that's really important to make sure that we're looking at everyone in their terms of how they perform their jobs. Thank you.
Michelle, you're going to go first on this one. It's going to sound a lot like a question you already had, but it's from a different point of view.
Okay.
What do you believe are the top 3 priorities of the residents of Dallas County District 2?
Okay. We all love the number 3, don't we? So the top 3 priorities of the residents. I can't read minds, but I can listen to people. So I will tell you the top 3 things I hear from people a lot. Taxes. Number 1 thing I hear is property taxes. Over and over and over again, I'm scared my taxes are going up, I'm scared my taxes are going up, I'm scared my taxes are going up. So I believe the only one other than Tom, so the only one in this race who has consistently said, I'm not raising taxes. I'm not gonna futz around and say I lowered the tax rate, but then your bill's higher. If your bill is higher, it's a tax increase. I firmly believe that. So I wanna make sure that we are looking at taxes. A number 2 thing I tend to hear from people is crime. They're very worried. We've seen after the storm, I think it was called Uri, after the freezes, when so many people were displaced from their homes because pipes burst and whatnot, that their houses got robbed. My neighbor, his safe, his wall safe, they took